from Louisville, Kentucky. Our usual Wednesday live stream. Got Sticker granddaughter here. It's our fireworks early 4th of July special. I haven't heard any fireworks going off. It was pretty rainy here. We had a thunderstorm here about an hour ago. How's it going out there? I know Steve Westman's stream is still going on, but I think it'll be over in about 10 minutes. He gets a lot of viewers. I saw Mazzy wasn't on there tonight. What's going on in the world today? A couple notes before I get into what's on the table. Beatle autographs, real or fake? That's my title tonight. Last time it was condition. This time it's authentic. Perry Cox has my authentic Paul McCartney autograph from February 15th, 1964 at the DeVille Miami Hotel the day before the second appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. It goes off in about 15 hours. It's got 15 bids. It's at $910 now, but that last 2 minutes, it will shoot up. Perry Cox's auctions usually always do that. They wait for the last minute. Any chance?
Weird and Wacky said wave, and then they said busy night.
Busy night.
And Paul George said happy 4th, Frank and family.
Uncle Paul called me earlier today. How's it going, Paul George? We got your Ram 2012 sealed album, mono mix. Showed that in one of my shorts. And I have a sealed Flaming Pie from 1986 with a hype sticker coming in from Uncle Paul in a few days. Notice there's some aging on this cover. That's the way they made it, to make it look like a bootleg. That's not age, that's the way they made it brand new. From 2012, the way to hear Ram in this true monophonic mix. That Paul McCartney made a monophonic mix of it. It was newly remastered at Abbey Road Studios, 2012.
Weird and Wacky said Frank and John Lennon Mind Games Box Cube going to sell some? Question mark.
Did I buy one? No. The $1,300 deluxe box set, is that what he's talking about? I didn't buy it. I've seen a few people open it up.
Are you going to?
No.
They're
sold out already.
Paul George said very well, love the mono Ram. Yes, coming soon.
Yep, here's the stereo, best way to hear the stereo, 1971 factory reel-to-reel 7.5 inches per second by Ampex tapes. That's as close as you'll hear to the master tapes on Ram. And it's the only, somebody told me that there are a lot more Beatles solo albums better than Ram. And I replied, this is the only solo Beatles album in the top 300 on the new music charts from Paste magazine. So the young generation, they like Ram. You got Too Many People, Three Legs, Ram On, Dear Boy, Uncle Albert, and Admiral Halsey, Smile Away. That's a pretty good side one. Side 2, Heart of the Country, Monk Berry, Moon Delight. That's a great one. Eat at Home, Long Haired Lady, Ram On, and the song that didn't get released in the United States but did in the United Kingdom, The Backseat of My Car. What a great album from Paul McCartney, 1971. Took many years before people realized how good this album is. All right. Kevin from Kevin Records, he was in Owensburg last weekend for a record show, record convention for 2 days, and Melinda Murphy showed up, and she shopped for 4.5 hours. Can you believe that? Until her husband said, "What are you doing? Still looking at records? You've been here 4.5 hours." She didn't even realize she'd been there that long. Let's talk about the USPS mail this week. I think half of the mail carriers took the week off. I have about 10 packages stuck in Louisville. Hopefully I'll get them on Friday, but you never know. But the Postal Service, they haven't picked up at our grocery store in 3 days, and they didn't deliver packages at all today at all, even though they were here in town. They just can't handle it with the people they have left working the postal system this week. I guess July 4th, it would be a good week to take off if you were a mail carrier. My youngest son's a mail carrier in Ohio. Neil Young, he canceled, was the lead act of Louder Than Life coming to Louisville, and they're scurrying trying to find another person to headline the 3-day event here in Louisville. But I hear that Neil Young canceled almost all his performances for a few months, so there must be something going on with his health or something. Lanny Wilson, she did a duet with Mick Jagger in Chicago on Sunday night, and that was pretty amazing. Check it out on YouTube. Lanny Wilson, she's 32, Mick's about 81. They did a pretty good duet, and Mick even let her sing the line about Kentucky Derby. So that was pretty cool. And even Keith Richards was singing pretty good background vocals. Pretty amazing video. Check it out. There's about 3 different angles of it on YouTube. Dead Flowers from June 29th in Chicago with Lanny Wilson and the Rolling Stones. Is that most of my notes?
Paul George says Ram is a classic.
Is a what?
Classic.
Dead Flowers?
Ram.
Oh, Ram's a classic. But talking about Dead Flowers, same year as Ram. These 2 albums were in the top 10 at the same time. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
And there was another album that was just about to be released the same time these were in the top 10 from Led Zeppelin. What was it?
Beatles.
This was released in November of 1971. So you got 3 amazing albums all at the same time. Stairway to Heaven was released on the world when Sticky Fingers and Ram were in the top 10.
Is that the Beatles?
That's Led Zeppelin. Here's Led Zeppelin on the cover of Cashbox magazine right before Stairway to Heaven was released. Look at Jimmy Page. He's just letting his beard grow out. John Paul Jones got a beard. John Bottom looks like he's already a little bit wasted, got a mustache going on. And Robert Plant goes, "What am I doing here?"
What am I doing here?
All right, let's put these classic masterpiece albums away. Talk about autographs. Is Steve Westman's live stream over with yet or not?
It's 1111, angel number.
That's about when he ends. All right, let's show these autographs. Real or fake? Beatle autographs.
That's fake.
90% of the Beatle autographs on the internet are done by their secretaries, roadies, or people that practice for years to copy their signatures. Most of them that you see on Pawn Stars, they bring in there, they're all not real. I got 3 original set of autographs here and 2 fake.
It's fake.
You guys know where they are at? Oh, she's going to tell you.
I guessed. I don't know that.
1964. This was done by the secretaries. On a fan club card, they usually have the United Kingdom address, but this was a USA, Mount Lakes, New Jersey. Done by the secretaries, pretty good. Done in two different red ink and blue ballpoint ink. Pretty good on the Paul McCartney. Ringo's not bad. George is just a little different. John Lennon's quite a bit different. Secretaries practiced their autographs many times before they would sign these fan club cards.
Do the comment.
Fabio Mazzi said, "Thank you, Frank. You do a great job. Keep it up."
Who is it?
Fabio Mazzi.
Set the seat.
Fabio Mazzi.
Fabio
Mazzi.
Mazzi. All right, thanks. So, no, that brought up something. All right, here's another set of autographs by a groupie that hung out in the United Kingdom in London in 1967 and 68. She thought she was getting the Beatle autographs, but they're either a Mal Evans or a Neil Aspinall set of autographs. Paul McCartney's a little off. George is a little off. John's getting close. And Ringo Starr's way off. But the Mick Jagger and Brian Jones autographs in here are real, but the Beatles are not. Done by the road manager.
You don't know how I guessed that?
How'd you guess it?
Because they didn't have them papers.
Yeah, the papers. COAs. Certificate of Authenticity. You've seen these before, but I'll showcase them one more time and put them away. 1963 ticket when they played in Sweden. In Gothenburg, Sweden, October 27th, 1963. They played 3 performances. This was the last show. You got an unused ticket there with John Lennon and Paul McCartney on the front side. And in red ink, you got George Harrison and Ringo Starr. And Ringo even signed it twice. It's got the COA from Roger Epperson that works for PSA DNA out there in California. They're the ones that authenticate on Pawn Stars with Steve Grad.
Carl Sebastian said, "Hi, Frank."
Carl Sebastian, that's one of my good customers on eBay.
Ooh. And KRWD said, "The only way to know is have them sign it right in front of you."
Well, or
Well, they're too old.
Frank Casio pretty much knows. He did it for 40 years of authenticating Beatle autographs. Kind of hard to have a picture of the Beatles showing them signing it.
That's for them.
There's a few people that have that, not many. This is the original flyer. Handbill for that concert, for those autographs came from, they played in Sweden 25th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. And then they did the Swedish drop-in TV special on the 30th. I bought this original handbill from Perry Cox. That's one set of original autographs. Second set, 1963. Somebody messaged me today. They didn't think I could ever sell this because John Lennon wrote to Frank. To Frank, best wishes, John Lennon. He's on one scrapbook page, and on the other one is George Harrison, Ringo Starr, and Paul McCartney. Signed in 1963. Letter of Authenticity. Signed by Roger Epperson again. And it's got Steve Grad and all the main, James Spence Jr., all the guys that work for PSA DNA.
You should keep that as a collection. It says your name.
I know, that's what somebody told me on on eBay. They said, how could you ever sell it, Frank? All right, got one more set. You know my newest set of autographs I got.
KRWD said, yep, LOL, that's for sure.
What is?
Probably talking about the COAs or so.
What's he saying?
It was probably about the COA. He said, yep, laugh out loud, that's for sure. So it was probably about the COA.
All right, we got the
Boy, about not getting them all together no more because they're
Frank Casio that's pretty much retired from doing authenticating Beatles autographs. He did this in 2019. He says that to get a set of Beatle autographs from 1965 is pretty darn tough, and they're highly desirable because the Beatles were well protected in 1965. The only ones that got autographs were the policemen that protected them or the stewardess on the planes when they went from town to town. Also has a Paul Wayne, the expert on authenticating from England, that works for Trax UK Limited. Paul Wayne. Notice it has the same pictures of the 4 pages of the Beatle autographs. And you got a COA from the son of the policeman that escorted him from the airport to the Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, where they performed that night on August 21st, 1965. Just 6 days after they performed before 55,000 people at the Shea Stadium. You guys have all seen the film of Shea Stadium. Here's the autograph the last time I'm going to show it. You got signed August 21st, 1965, Bloomington, Minnesota, all 4 Beatles. First page, Beatles. Ringo Starr wrote Beatles before on top of his name. A big, large Paul McCartney. Almost a 4-inch autograph. John Lennon, another 4-inch autograph. Somebody told me that's one of the most beautiful John Lennon autographs they ever seen from the 60s. But watch how it bleeds to the next page. You can see where the John Lennon, it's inscribed. You probably can't see that on there. But you can see where it goes through the page and right onto the page that George Harrison signed.
Which autograph's the most valuable?
The Sweden ticket is because it's an unused ticket from one of their concerts.
KRWD said, have you priced that book yet, Frank?
Yes, the book is up at $15,000 on eBay.
Amazing.
$14,999 to be correct. All right, the signatures are off the table.
My dad
There are the fakes. Talking about authentic. There's thousands and thousands of butcher covers that are made in China and Japan from the 1990s all the way up to now. And they have the technology to really fool you. You gotta be real careful if you ever buy a butcher cover.
KRWD said, wow, amazing stuff.
This is the latest one I just peeled. This is my holy slab, holy grail. It's not slabbed yet. Factory sealed, second state from 1966 mono. It is a West Coast number 6, made in Los Angeles. You can see the breathe holes and the foxing wear because it's 50, what would that be? About 57 years old. Another factory breathe hole right there. You can see Ringo's pants, dark pants right there. His V-neck, his head. And you can even see John Lennon's head on the butcher cover peeking through right here.
Nova's Nick said, hello, Frank.
How you doing, Novus Nick? That one makes me nervous handling it. That is up for sale at $8,900. Gonna put that away. Be real careful. Handle with care, handle with care.
Nova's Nick said hi to me, so I waved.
All right, Novus Nick. Give me that sticker mania. We didn't show that last time. Shout out to David Bianco from Safe and Sound in Texas. He got a hold of me with this Yahoo email, Mr_StickerMania@yahoo.com. And he said hi to me the other day and shouted out to me through this email. David Bianco, you guys have all heard of him in Safe and Sound, Texas. He's got a great YouTube channel. He loves the Beatles too.
Sonia Corrine said, I love the Beatles, greatest group in the world. Hello all.
They're the greatest group in the world. Come on. There's all these people that want to say they're not, but how can you say they're not? They are.
Kara WD said, yep. Oh.
Rich said, yep.
No, he said something about David is a good guy. Who's David?
Oh, David Bianco.
Oh.
He went and visited my buddy Chad Cassim at Salina, Ohio. Did a tour there. I need to do that sometime. All right, we got the Butcher Cover Original Authentic 66 that I peeled a few days ago with the Remove Trunk Slick.
Remove trunk slick.
But they're so good at making the technology of these, they're making them where you buy a second state and you can see the V-neck through, that they're making the fakes that good anymore. But I've peeled 150 originals before and I know when they're original. I went to a store here in Louisville once, a local record store that's not open anymore, because they called and told me they had a first state butcher cover and they only wanted $1,500 for it. So I rushed right over there. They brought it out of the back room, 3 of them, and I could tell right away it was just a fake butcher slick that they pasted on an old cover. You could see the glue lines all around it. They got pretty upset when I told them it wasn't real.
What was that?
I told them it was worth about $30. Remember, we're going to give this away when we get to 2,000 subscribers. We're almost at 1,700, so we're moving along slowly, but we'll get there.
What was the first butcher cover you ever peeled?
First butcher cover when I was 18 years old, 1972. And I didn't come out too good either.
Which one was it?
It was like this, a mono, East Coast, that I steam peeled it.
Kara WD said he did. You gotta check out Chad's vault, Frank.
Chad's vault. I'd love to have Chad to give me a tour of his vault. He's told me that he has a Led Zeppelin 2 promo, white label promo, and near mint in there. And the butcher cover that he has is the one I finished his peel. He only had it halfway peeled and I finished it up for him as part of the deal when I bought a sealed Nimbus Supercut that I ended up selling for $7,000.
Fenris Hall said, do you have a fake butcher cover to compare them side by side?
I do not have a fake one here today. This is the trunk slick stereo that came off this cover that'll be included to the winner of my trivia question when we get to 2,000 subscribers. 3 tough questions about the butcher cover.
If I could peek, can I have it?
Yeah. So I put a shout out to somebody that was working at the Capitol Records factories in 1966 when they were covering up these butcher covers, but I haven't got any responses yet. But my boss told me at the grocery store that they'd be about 75 years old, so we'll see if I ever get a hold of somebody 75 or 80 years old that was working at the factories when they were pasting these over as fast as they could. All right, let's put the butcher covers away.
Put them away.
And we're not going to leave that on the top shelf because we know how dangerous that is.
How dangerous is it?
We won't talk about that.
Oh.
All right, a couple shout outs to, I forgot about Mikey Arugula. He got a hold of me through my email the other day, and I talked to him on the phone for about 10 minutes. And we're going to do a Zoom video between me and him on Mean Mr. Mayo's channel in a few weeks when we can work it out. He did one with Barbara that had all those Beatle dresses, if you guys saw that. It was a really Beatles collector, I think it was called video number one. So he's going to do one with Colleen from Ohio that sold that To Hell with the Beatles button the other day for $910. Can you believe a 3-inch button sold for $910 that said To Hell with the Beatles? You guys know why that has so much value, that button?
Because To Hell with the Beatles.
Somebody wore it. One of the Beatles wore it. Which one? The other button
John.
that huh?
John,
No. To Hell with the Beatles.
I hate you.
You were close.
He said it. He lied.
The other Beatles button, pinback button that has a lot of value, I told Mikey Arugula, is the one that I like the Beatles and it's spelled with 2 E's, the one they were wearing at the Washington concert at the Washington Coliseum on February 11th in 1964, the first concert ever in America in a boxing arena. And they had misspelled all the buttons that were sold for the event with 2 E's instead of EA. And if you watch the video closely on YouTube, you can see the girls wearing those buttons that say, I like the Beatles with 2 E's. That button I've had 3 times. The value on that button would be close to $900 on it also. Only time that ever happened was the very first live show in America.
I hate the Beatles with 2 Y's.
So I gave out a shout to Mikey Arugula and Dave Bianco. I think I've caught up on all my shout outs. All right, let's do some showcasing some things. I got a lot of amazing stuff coming in when the Postal Service is working good again. Today, somebody got a big Beatles collection. They put up all 7 colors of the disco cases, Beatles disco cases from 1966, including the brown one that has the sticker on the side of it. And it's really rare, but I got all 7 colors coming from, and the same seller. I made a deal on the 4 Remco dolls, hard body dolls in the original boxes. So I made a deal on the 4 Remco and the 7 disco cases from 1966, and the Remcos were from 1964. So I thought that was the best 2 items, memorabilia they had in their collection. I got a hold of it today. How many thousands of dollars do you think I had to give to get the Remco and the disco cases?
3.
Somebody take a guess out there.
3.
Oh, you got it. Well, you must know.
No, I don't know that.
You just took a guess?
Yeah.
Well, you got it. BC 13, I have a 1978 Beatles BC 13 box set coming in with the dark blue box. That's the way they were in 78, and then they changed to a light blue after that in the 80s. And I have a 1978 BC 13 from New Zealand also coming. My Beatles and mono box sets, I sold both of them in a few days at $1,750 each. Sold both box sets. 2014 Beatles and mono box sets.
Nova's Nick guessed 100 and
No, 300.
Paul, 300. And Paul George said, great deal. I have all the disco cases except brown.
The brown is real. The brown is about a $800 by itself.
That's not that much.
And there was somebody put up 4 Beatle guitar pins in the original backing card from 1964. They had a 59-cent price tag from Woolworths on the back of one of them, and I won the auction for $650 for all 4 Beatle guitar pins on the original backing cards in near mint old store stock condition. And I also have another Beatles versus Four Seasons coming with no seam splits, and this time it has the poster. You know, I had to spend a lot of money to get that one. Told you about the sold. I have another Sgt. Pepper Mono 1967 UK coming in. And I have a whole set more Christmas fan club records. I got the whole set including 1963 coming in a few days. Somebody put up the whole set of 7. The 1963, last time I sold it for $260. This time I'll know it's worth a lot more than that. They didn't make too many. There weren't too many people that got the fan club 1963 because that's before they came to the United States. I think that's most. I got a Beatles beach towel made by Canon coming with it's never been washed. It has the original tag coming. A sealed 1971 Imagine first press of John Lennon factory sealed album coming, and I have 2 Exile. I have an Exile coming with both hype stickers from 1972 and a factory sealed Through the Dark Pastly that has a hype sticker for Honky Tonk Women. That's a tough cover to get. That's factory sealed that has that Honky Tonk Women hype sticker. And you know, I love hype stickers. That's how I got my name.
Fabio Mazzi said, Frank, do you know how many butcher covers were pasted?
Pasted?
Pasted.
They estimated that 60,000 of them were pasted over, but so many have been peeled over the years, I estimate there's only about not much more than 10,000 of them left, and only 10% of those are the East Coast water-based glue that I can steam peel. Most of them are all now left are the number 5 or number 6 from the West Coast, Los Angeles, that have the strong alcohol-based glue.
Ew.
Rock Band. In the Tennessee collection, I got this sealed Beatles Rock Band Xbox from 2009. And by the next live stream, I'll have this employee kit from GameStop. It's in the original shipping box, and it has 5 different sizes of shirts that the employees were supposed to wear to promote this rock band. I have the 2 magazines also that promote this also in the other room, but I'll show all that on Saturday's live stream.
They got a game?
GameStop. Yeah,
No,
it's
they haven't.
Rock Band, Beatles Rock
No.
Band, Xbox 360. I've never played it, but
My dad
they
has.
play Beatles songs and stuff on it. And then if you're real good, some of you out there might know that you can get into some other songs if you're real good at the game.
Can I have it?
No, it's sealed. We'll leave it that way.
Oh, okay.
Here's the first record ever released that made the charts with a Beatles cover in the United States from the summer of 1963. Dale Shannon, From Me to You. And it has on the label McCartney-Lennon instead of Lennon-McCartney. But Dale Shannon was on the same tour in 1963 as the Beatles. He heard the Beatles perform the song, and he actually recorded the song before the Beatles had a chance to record it because they were performing every night. This went to number 77 on the U.S. Billboard charts in June of 1963. This is a near mint pressing of Dale Shannon doing From Me to You, the original pressing with the original big top company inner sleeve or company sleeve. So that's pretty cool.
I agree.
Very first song they had McCartney, Lennon as the credits in America.
The hell?
Dave Clark 5. Let's have a Dave Clark 5 minutes. See if any of you out there like the Dave Clark 5. What song did Glad All Over take off the #1 charts in the United Kingdom in late 1963?
Sgt. Pepper.
What Beatles song? Late 63. Sgt. Pepper 67.
You say song or album?
Glad All Over took the Beatles off the charts. #1 in England. The #1 song was a big hit they had here. First hit they had in the United States. You guys all know what it is. I Want to Hold Your Hand. Come on.
I didn't get that one.
So this one is the rare cover that doesn't have the instruments, the very first mono cover of the Dave Clark 5, Glad All Over. And it has the hype sticker affixed to the shrink and it says includes bits and pieces. Glad All Over only went to #6 on the charts in the USA. The only #1 hit they had in the United States was Over and Over in 1965. Next we got the best stereo audiophile pressing that exists in the world from the Dave Clark 5, 1970 from the United Kingdom. It's called The Best of Dave Clark 5. Harry from Harry's Music showed this on Rachel Ghost's channel. Shout out to Rachel's Ghost. We're going to try to do another interview with Rachel Ghost 2 Wednesdays, 2 weeks from today. So this has all true stereo versions of Do You Love Me, You Got What It Takes, Come Home, Catch Us If You Can, Bits and Pieces, Glad All Over, Because, Try Too Hard. It's a few others. This was the only time that the Dave Clark 5 recordings were ever all remixed in true stereo was in 1970 in England. Did you know that Dave Clark owned the rights to the songs and you could not get a Dave Clark 5 album anywhere from 1978 all the way to 1993? For 15 years, Dave Clark 5 albums were not in the store. They were all out of print. You had to buy a used copy. But when you hear this true stereo of Glad All Over, and it's got the Mike Smith, the vocals and his background vocals and the rest of the group, it's just amazing. And the thumping drums. Who was the drummer, the actual drummer on the Dave Clark 5 albums, on their recordings? Anybody know that out there?
There you go.
I wrote it down somewhere, but probably not going to find it now. Let's see if anybody knows the answer. If you looked it up, I'm sure on Google, it would tell you who was the drummer that actually played on the Dave Clark 5 albums. So in 1971 in the United States, they put out a true stereo. It's called the Dave Clark 5, a 2-album set here by Epic Records. And this also is all in true stereo, 4 sides. And Having a Wild Weekend really sounds good in true stereo. Bobby Graham, that is it. That is the answer. Did you look it up? Mm-hmm. Bobby Graham was the drummer that Dave Clark hired to do that great drumming on their hits.
Mike Neviazer said, LOL, stand by it, you can't sell it.
What's that?
He said, LOL, I stand by it, you can't sell it.
I stand by it. You can't sell it.
I don't know. You're asking me like I
So this is this has that extra reverb that they put on the US, so the Glad All Over sounds a little more different than the one in the United Kingdom. I like the United Kingdom stereo pressing better. And I got one other Dave Clark 5 to show. 1972.
Maybe not
when only Mike Smith and Dave Clark were left in the band. The other three had quit the group by then. Denny and Lenny, and I'm missing the third member there.
Denny, Lenny, and Lonnie.
But they had left the band, and really only two people. And after 1970 was Dave Clark and Mike Smith. But they recorded this "Play the Good Old Rock and Roll." 18 golden oldies, and this is in true stereo too, and it's on the Music for Pleasure record label. That was a discount label in the United Kingdom. Haven't shown this one. I got it here. I'll show it. Post Magazine, March 1964, with the Beatles on the cover, right after their 3 appearances on the Ed Sullivan Show. The Secret of the Beatles. Intimate account of their American tour and a probing analysis of their incredible power to evoke frenzied emotions among the young. March of '64. Got any questions? I'm just going to go show some more things.
Everyone, like, comment, and subscribe. Well,
So the rock band, we got a Rolling Stones and a Led Zeppelin to show. I got this factory sealed and the original baggy shrink from Germany. It's a Unipack cover of Exile from Germany. I don't know if it has the postcards. I don't know if it has the Artesian logo in the dead wax. I'll have to look it up. But this is factory sealed, sold for $5.50 in Germany in their money in 1972. But it does have that Unipack cover that didn't last long in the United States. You can see that Unipack cover there. Factory sealed Exile from Germany.
Germany. That's where I'm from.
And I have a factory sealed Led Zeppelin physical graffiti coming next week. Probably have it by Saturday, we hope, if the Postal Service starts delivering my packages. And I'll have this hype sticker on it, this Great 2 album from Led Zeppelin.
Mike
Alright.
put laughing emojis.
What is it?
Mike put laughing emojis.
He put some
Laughing emojis. I don't know what that
laughing. What's he laughing about?
means. I don't know. Ask him.
Alright, Beach Boys.
Okay, and Mike said, like, you know how he said you can't sell it? He said he was talking about the 2 Frank autograph.
Oh yeah, 2 Frank autograph. Got another So Tough with a near mint pressing, a mono of Pet Sounds from 1972. When Carl Wilson, Brian's younger brother, remixed it from the master tapes and made a much better dynamic pressing than the original Pet Sounds from the '66. But I got this in. I'm going to have the whole set of Beach Boy autographs for Saturday. But I only got in the Brian Wilson, and that had to be signed from the '70s because it has every initial, his whole name's wrote down, where in later years he just kind of scribbles and puts a BR and then a W and then a, but that's a Brian Wilson, and it's got a Beckett COA. That's like the Roger Epperson. And PSA DNA. That's a nice Brian Wilson autograph when he could still autograph his whole name. But I have the Carl Wilson, Dennis Wilson, Al Jardine, Bruce Johnson, and Mike Love autograph coming in from one of their programs in the next couple days with a PSA DNA COA. Any question about the Beach Boys or Dave Clark 5?
Never.
Never.
I like Beatles.
Beatles, Kevin Rickards. My buddy here in town gave me some underground Beatle albums to sell, but I can't sell them on eBay, so I'll take them out to my antique toy mall booth this weekend and sell them in my display case. You got the EMI outtakes. You got the Bye 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 Super Tracks 1 with the Abaddon pictures on the cover. You see these underground albums, they didn't spend a lot on making the covers. You got John Lennon Working Class Hero, a 2 record set that has with Jimi Hendrix, Chuck Berry, Elton John, Eric Clapton, and Keith Richards. Told you I have a sealed Imagine coming. This is one that's not sealed. And I got this import best of John Lennon from, looks like Taiwan or something. Creato. C-R-E-A-T-O. You guys would have to tell me which country that is.
What'd you say? Costa Rica?
It doesn't say on there. Ministry and Culture. Don't know if that's China or Taiwan or what. Alright, that's from Kevin Records. Same age I am here in Louisville, Kentucky. Look him up.
That's your best friend.
Alright, we talked about the Dave Clark 5, Sgt. Pepper, Abbey Road. I think that's most of the things to show. I magazines, haven't shown them in a while. You saw I had those I posters for sale. This is the original I magazine from 1968 with John Lennon on the cover. It has the whole interviews, transcript. It said 101 hours with John Lennon and Paul McCartney when they were in New York City promoting Apple Records at the very beginning. It's got the original Bob Dylan poster still attached in the middle. Real nice shape. I magazine with John Lennon on the cover, and the I magazine that includes giant full color Yellow Submarine, Beatles, and the Blue Meanie. So this is from August of '68, and this is from September of '68. But you see the Yellow Submarine poster is still attached inside the middle of the magazine. These magazines are real tough to get in that condition. Abbey Road. I don't have my misaligned Abbey Road. Somebody was complaining I had a laminated lift on the back of my misaligned Abbey Road. I still haven't sold it yet, but that laminated cover can cause that. This is a 1969 USA. It's in the shrink. Originally sold for $3.79. They had it discounted when it first came out. You see it has a sewer grate down here on the bottom, and it has no Her Majesty listed after the N on the back. It's got the apple here. That's the way the USA. As you see, it's not as clear and as glossy as that laminated cover from the United Kingdom. Let's see if the record's got Her Majesty on it.
Do they?
Nope, no Her Majesty on the record either.
Well, damn it.
Abbey Road, the way it was originally released in the United States in 1969. We got the Sgt. Pepper. I told you I have a first press from the United Kingdom mono. The way to really hear Sgt. Pepper, like John Lennon says, this is the Germany pressing. It's DMM. It's got a little extra bass added from Paul McCartney. Direct metal mastering. The Germans sure knew how to master those Beatle recordings in the late 1970s. Great way to hear Sgt. Pepper.
Is your second favorite the Rolling Stones?
Yes.
And then the Beach Boys?
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, damn.
Alright, I got a With the Beatles. This is original United Kingdom. Like a second or third pressing. Mono. They had that flip back on all three sides. That's how you know you got an original one. And it doesn't have sold in the US, sold in the UK across the middle. That means it was made before 1964, this record. And there's some other clues on the credits and stuff. If you look up in the Bruce Spicer books on the United Kingdom, show me that one book there, PowerPhone. David or Mikey Arugula liked that I knew that Tony Bramwell had the thumb right there. That's his thumb on the cover of Beatles for Sale. And he said, "How did you know that?" And I said, "Well, it's in the opening of Bruce Spicer's book."
Mike Navirzer said,
Forward by Tony Bramwell.
they said the Best of Lennon LP is from South Korea 1990.
All right, thanks. South Korea 1990. Now I know. I appreciate that. Let me know. Here's that Beatles for Sale again. It has that Tony Bramwell thumb right there on the cover. This is a mono from the United Kingdom with the flip backs. And it's got the sold in the UK across the record label. An actual mono original from 1964 in the United Kingdom. So that's a couple of my original pressings. We talked about the Sticky Fingers. If you talk about Sticky Fingers and Mick Taylor, you got to talk about Let It Bleed. That new girl they have, a background singer on their tour, can really build out Gimme Shelter. This is the 1970 pressing from the United Kingdom. The ultimate way to hear Let It Bleed from the master tapes. Decca Records. This is the mono, or this is the stereo from the United States. And it's got the original poster inside. I think I sold the fan club card already. I have another collection of Rolling Stones that has a fan club card coming. That's the original poster. It says London on the bottom. If it says Decca on the bottom, then you got the poster from the United Kingdom. You can see a young, he's about 18, 19 years old, and Mick Taylor down there with the Rolling Stone. That's when he first joined the group.
Hey, Jude.
Any other questions? We'll be on here about 5 more minutes.
God damn it. No questions.
You saw this last time, Revolver, another great Beatles album. This original second press from the United Kingdom, mono mix. It doesn't have the outtake of Tomorrow Never Knows. That's only on the -1-1. This is a -2-2. But this also has sold in the UK across the label. That's how you know you got original pressing from the United Kingdom. Because one time the Wax showed, he thought he had original pressing, but it didn't show that on the label, so I knew it wasn't original pressing. I think I showed about all the stuff I had laid out.
You should ask them if we could throw pies in Skylar's face next video.
Who said that?
Me.
No. Here's a song hit magazine of June 1964. It said, "The Beatles are here." What percentage did you of all records sold in the United States from March until June? What percentage were the Beatles selling of all records sold in record stores in the United States? What's your guess?
70.
You're close.
80.
60%. 60% of all records sold were Beatle records in the United States for a 2 to 3 month period. A lot of other artists were upset the Beatles had taken over the charts. I have a Billboard chart that has 14 Beatle songs in the top 100. And you saw my Beach Boys. These are not real autographs, but I do have real autographs coming as Carl Wilson, Al Jardine, Mike Love, Dennis Wilson, and Brian Wilson. That was early 1965 tour book.
Did you sell that poster you said you was gonna give me?
I don't know. I haven't somewhere. All right. I think that's about it for tonight because the packages have all been delayed by the post service. They took the week off and went to Florida or whatever, and so hopefully I'll get some in by Saturday. So on the next live stream Saturday night, remember I'm going to do a Beatles collecting video with Mikey Arugula in a few weeks on Me, Mr. Mayo. Going to do a video with Rachel Ghost again, our monthly interview. So check that out. And tomorrow night, that Perry Cox autograph that he's autographing for me, the Paul McCartney, cross my fingers, it doubles or triples that last minute.
Ooh, delete that real quick.
You got another question?
Safe and Sound Texas Audio Executions that I have the 3 original Capital Red, Blue, and White vinyl sets sealed with original Sound Warehouse stickers of $7.99 and $8.99.
That's pretty cool. David Bianco, thanks for emailing me the other day through my Yahoo page. You want to show that again? David Bianco figured out how to get a hold of me through my Yahoo, through my YouTube. Mr_StickerMania at yahoo.com. So shout out to David Bianco. I need to go to visit Chad Casson like you did and check out the vault. All right, that's it from Louisville, Kentucky. Have a happy July 4th and don't get hurt with fireworks. Thanks.
Have a nice night.